her show again.
She got renewed. Something about her that triggers people. I don't know what it is. Maybe because she's a duchess.
She married a prince.
And she married a prince.
What's amazing, though, is what an influence on culture Meghan Markle has. I feel like she gets discussed all the time. Some people like her, some people hate her, some people don't care.
You're in America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our prince. You'll never be king.
Well, I just think some people might say that your Instagram-loving twife actually doesn't want her privacy. How dare you, sir? My Instagram-loving twife has always wanted her privacy.
What happens when a duchess walks into the lion's den of daytime TV? You get live television that feels more like a courtroom cross-examination than a celebrity sit-down. Meghan Markle's appearance on The View was billed as a simple promotional stop for her latest children's book, but the second she stepped onto that stage in a crisp cream blazer and a too-perfect smile, the air turned electric. Something was coming, and everyone felt it. The applause was polite, but stiff. Meghan settled in with practiced grace, but her white-knuckle grip on the coffee mug told a different story. Joy Behar wasted no time, her tone deceptively warm as she welcomed the Duchess, then coolly pivoted. You're here to talk about your book, but our viewers are a little more curious about your other projects. The room stiffened. Even Whoopi leaned back, ready for impact. Meghan answered with poise, but there was a flicker of tension in her voice, a crack in the carefully polished surface. And Joy, smelling blood, pushed harder. Empathy and understanding, she echoed after Meghan's opening remarks. Interesting choice of words, especially given how public your family conflicts have become. Boom. Silence. The kind that wraps around a room and squeezes. Meghan faltered for a heartbeat, then replied coolly, "Family is complicated, Joy. I believe in handling things privately, but that only opened the door wider." Sunny Hostin jumped in like a litigator mid-trial. But when that private business is shared across Netflix, Oprah, Spotify, can you really call it private? The studio rippled with quiet gasps. Meghan's mask didn't break, but it tilted. What was meant to be a polished press stop had become a pressure cooker, and the steam was spilling out fast. This wasn't an interview, it was a reckoning. One side armed with talking points, the other with questions no one else had dared ask. And what happened next? You'll want to sit down for that. This was what the audience had come to see. Uncensored, unscripted, and uncomfortable. Meghan sat taller, her royal poise barely masking the spark in her eyes. "There's a difference between sharing your truth and exploiting family drama," she snapped. It was the first real crack in her calm, and Joy pounced. "Your truth?" she echoed, eyes glinting. "What about your fathers? Your sisters?" Meghan fired back. "My father sold lies to the tabloids. That's not my truth. That's a fact." Joy leaned in, her tone dripping with condescension. "Sweetheart, don't you think maybe you played a role in all this?" The panel held its breath. Whoopi stayed silent. Sarah looked uncomfortable. Sunny watched like a hawk. Meghan took a slow sip of coffee, her hand trembling slightly as she set the mug down. "I came to talk about children's literacy," she said firmly. "Not to relive media sensationalism." But Joy pressed on. "You can't separate the two. You preach empowerment, but you cut off your family. You aired accusations on international television. No right of reply." Meghan's jaw clenched. They had every opportunity. They chose tabloids over truth. Then Sunny struck. "Or maybe they went public because you already did," saying someone in the royal family made racist comments. "How is that private?" Meghan turned to her. "You're questioning whether I should have spoken up about racism toward my child." "I'm questioning the timing," Sunny replied coolly, "and the fallout you didn't stick around to clean up." Joy jumped back in. "And let's talk about that timing. Convenient, wasn't it? These revelations always land when you need to shift public opinion." Meghan's eyes blazed. "You think it was convenient to talk about suicidal thoughts on global television? That I used my trauma for sympathy?" Joy didn't flinch. "I'm saying I've seen plenty of people hide behind mental health when they're being held accountable." The room froze. Meghan's face flushed, hands clenched. "Are you accusing me of faking my mental health struggles?" "I'm accusing you," Joy said calmly, "of turning every challenge into a PR narrative where you're the victim." The audience gasped. Cameras zoomed. Meghan's composure cracked. But the war of words had only just begun. Meghan shot to her feet, her chair clattering backward. I won't sit here and be lectured about victimhood by someone who's made a career out of tearing people down on TV. Joy rose with her, calm but seething. Oh, so now I'm the villain? I'm asking questions millions want answered. You just don't like the answers. Sunny jumped in, seizing the moment. Meghan, sit down. You knew we asked tough questions. You can't expect to plug your book and dodge the real conversation. Meghan turned on her, eyes blazing. You mean the fact that I married into a family that couldn't accept a biracial woman? That I was ripped apart by the press while the royals stood silent? Sunny didn't flinch. You say racism? What about the palace staff who quit? The bullying allegations, are they lies too? The word bullying landed like a slap. Meghan's face contorted with shock. Those were palace smears and you know it. That's when Whoopi finally spoke, her voice slicing through the chaos. Hold on, I've been quiet, Meghan, but you're losing me. Not everything is a conspiracy. At some point, you've got to own your part. Meghan's expression shattered. Even Whoopi. Betrayal flickered across her face. Responsibility, she said, her voice trembling. I walked away to protect my family. What more do you want? Joy moved in for the kill. We want the truth. No spin, no buzzwords. Just admit you're not the flawless victim your PR paints you as. Meghan's voice cracked, rising. You think I wanted this? To be hunted by tabloids? To have my own father sell me out? To be suicidal? Her pain was raw, but Joy stood firm. I think you made choices, and now you want sympathy without consequences. Sarah Haynes tried to jump in, panicked. Maybe we should all... Don't manage me, Meghan snapped, eyes locked on the table. I came in good faith, and I walked into a firing squad. Sunny leaned in. You've had every platform to tell your story. This is just the first time someone pushed back. If that rattles you, maybe don't do interviews. The silence was deafening. Cameras clicked. Meghan's breathing was heavy, her rage tightly leashed. You want to challenge my narrative? She said, her voice low and lethal. Fine, let's talk about yours. Let's talk about how this show makes its money, Meghan snapped, her voice cutting through the air like glass. By dragging down successful women, then pretending it's journalism. You sit here every day judging, sneering, hiding behind just asking questions. Joy's eyes lit up like a shark scenting blood. This was the eruption she'd been baiting from the start. Ah, there she is, Joy said smugly. The real Meghan Markle. Can't take criticism without going nuclear. The comment hit like a lit fuse. Meghan stood, eyes blazing, finger pointed. You want to talk about attacking people? It looks like a 78-year-old woman who's built an empire tearing down other women and calling it commentary. You pretend to be a feminist icon, but you're just afraid of being replaced. The studio went dead still. Joy's mouth fell open. In decades of TV, no guest had ever cut so deep. The co-hosts froze, unsure if they were witnessing a meltdown or a mutiny. Joy recovered, voice trembling with fury. Did you just call me irrelevant? I was doing this before you were booking bit parts on forgotten cable shows. Meghan didn't blink. And yet, here you are, so desperate for relevance, you're willing to question a woman's mental health for ratings. The blow landed hard. Sunny jumped in, her tone sharp. Meghan, that's enough. Joy has done more for women's rights than you ever. Women's rights, Meghan cut in, venom in her tone. Is that what this is? Because from here, it looks like 4 middle-aged women ganging up on someone who had the courage to walk away from a life that was killing her. That's when Whoopi stood, her presence instantly commanding. Let's get something straight. You came into our house and now you're insulting all of us because you don't like the heat. Meghan laughed coldly. This isn't your house, Whoopi. This is a set, a stage. And just like I used to, you perform here every day. The only difference is, I admitted when the act was destroying me. The air was suffocating. Lines had been crossed, torched, and buried. Joy, flushed and visibly shaken, opened her mouth, but Meghan beat her to it. You want to know your problem? Joy snarled, abandoning all pretense of professionalism. You think because you married a prince, you're untouchable? That you get to cry victim and no one's allowed to challenge you? Meghan's eyes narrowed, her voice razor sharp. And you think you get to bully women under the guise of journalism? You're just a bitter old woman furious that someone half your age achieved more in 5 years than you have in 5 decades. The blow landed. Joy's hands trembled as she jabbed a finger across the table. Strong women don't run, Meghan. You ditched your duties, your family, your crown, and now you want applause for walking away? Meghan erupted. I saved my family. I saved my son from the same institution that crushed his father. I saved myself from people like you, who feed off pain and call it commentary. Sarah Haynes desperately gestured to the producers to cut, but the cameras kept rolling. This was gold, and everyone knew it. The studio buzzed with chaos, cheers, gasps, and stunned silence. That's when Sunny struck with surgical precision. Meghan, every relationship you touched, your family, the royals, Hollywood, ends in wreckage. At what point do you ask what you bring to the table? Meghan didn't flinch. Her voice turned icy, deadly calm. You want a common denominator? Fine. It's people who are threatened by a woman who refuses to suffer quietly. People like you, who profit off pain and pretend it's purpose. She turned, locking eyes with each co-host. You don't uplift women. You tear them down to stay relevant. Joy fired back with one last shot of venom. Spare us the self-righteous speech. You're not a civil rights icon. You're an actress who married up and now thinks she's Oprah. Meghan reached up, unclipped her mic, and set it on the table with chilling grace. The message was clear. I'm done. You're right, she said coolly. I'm not here to lecture you about oppression. I'm here to say I've lived it, and I won't let you define it for me. She grabbed her purse, heels clicking in the stunned silence as she walked away. Whoopi stood, trying to salvage the moment. Meghan, don't go like this. We can still have a real conversation. Meghan paused, turned, and gave a sad smile. It stopped being real the moment Joy decided my mental health was entertainment. Joy couldn't help herself. Go ahead and run. It's what you do best. Meghan flinched, just for a second. Then she turned to the camera. To anyone watching who's been told their pain doesn't matter, who's been silenced, dismissed, or labeled too much, don't stop speaking. Your story matters, even when it makes people uncomfortable. And with that, she disappeared behind the curtain. The cameras lingered on the wreckage. The 4 co-hosts sat frozen. Joy tried to recover with a forced smile. Well, that was certainly something. We'll be right back. But everyone knew no commercial break could fix what had just unfolded. The internet exploded. Clips went viral within minutes. Think pieces and Twitter wars ignited instantly. The confrontation laid bare the ugliest truths about celebrity, media, and female rivalry. No one walked away unscathed. No one walked away the same. And daytime television would never forget it.